brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Bill, I'm sorry I have to keep bothering you about weather, but then that's the kind of business you're in, isn't it?
It's that time of year, yes.
That being the case, we're in for something here. District 6 canceling the basketball playoffs tonight. It's such a wide district. It comes from Indiana County all the way out past State College and the counties in between. So we know how big this district is, and we also know how very different the weather can be from one end of District 6 to the other. Here in Indiana County, Bill, what are we looking at with this next front coming in?
Well, we're looking at a few flurries this morning, so today's okay if you're out and about. May just see a few snowflakes fly, especially early on. Then we'll catch a break this afternoon, even into the evening hours, so the drive home looks okay later today. It's from late evening through early tomorrow morning that we expect some slippery weather to move in. So likely after 8 or 9 p.m. tonight, we start to see a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain, goes over to some ice for a time, maybe changes to rain for a few hours late tonight before tapering off tomorrow morning. So if you're out and about between about, let's say 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. in that time frame is when we can expect the worst conditions as far as slippery roads.
Well, I leave the house shortly after 2 a.m., Bill, so as we know, things can get really, really chancy, and especially with a storm of this sort where the temperature is just to the point where you don't know, I could be here and a half a mile later, I could be having rain and then right back into ice. It really does vary when you have temperatures hovering in this range, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. We're at 27 right now. The temperature will go up a little bit today above freezing, slip back below freezing this evening, probably go up again overnight. So just a few degrees on either side of your thermometer will make a big difference. That's why we're expecting pretty much every type of precipitation here over the next 24 hours, starting as a little bit of snow won't accumulate much, and then that period of ice, and then probably just plain rain late tonight and tomorrow morning.
Help us to understand, because we hear the number a lot, and we really don't have a relative way to quantify this or qualify this. What's a quarter of an inch of ice look like?
A quarter of an inch of ice, will be measured using a ruler on any surface out there, but it will be, the most important thing is once you get to that quarter-inch threshold, that is a quarter inch of rain that's fallen and frozen on contact, that's when you start to see tree limbs sagging, power lines catch some extra weight, and certainly could be threatened by the weight of that ice. So we're going to be very close to that quarter-inch figure late tonight. I think there's a better chance the further north and east you go, up toward Punxsutawney or Clearfield, and off to the south and east toward Johnstown, they might see some higher ice totals. Perhaps we fall just short of a quarter inch. And, yeah, that's that critical threshold we always use between a nuisance ice storm and one that's more significant.
Yeah, and we're going to be right on that edge, and so we're going to actually be emotionally on edge tomorrow as we consider people getting out there traveling about, and our storm center will be open. And, of course, if you can get some snow on top of ice, that's a little bit better because you've got just a little bit of grittiness there. That pure ice is the problem because you just don't know. Something that looks like a black wet streak could be something that's nothing but a sheet of ice.
Yeah, so if we do get a few hours of snow or sleet before the ice and rain moves in, that will actually help us, like you said, providing a little bit of friction, a little bit of traction underneath the ice that builds up. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be too much. Probably just a few flurries, maybe a few sleet pellets this evening. Most of the precipitation coming in the form of rain, either freezing on contact or not freezing on contact late tonight and tomorrow morning. So, I'll root for a little bit more sleet here because that's the better type of ice that you can expect rather than the ice that builds up.
After daybreak tomorrow, it's going to warm up into the upper 30s, I understand, and that certainly will be welcome, and people can begin to move about, but they're still going to have to be careful, huh?
They certainly will be, yeah. So when we're out and about for tomorrow morning's commute, probably still will be raining a little bit, tapering off maybe to flurries late in the morning, but that temperature will be above freezing for several hours in the morning. But even though your car thermometer may be reading 34, 35, just assume that it's maybe colder in some of those bridges and overpasses and drive as if there was ice there, even though there probably won't be by the time we get to later in the morning. And then that temperature dives a little bit in the afternoon, falling back below freezing by evening. Again, we could have a few flurries later tomorrow.
Bill Deger with us from Accuweather. I'm not going to keep you much longer, Bill. I know you're very, very busy on a day such as today, but I wanted to ask you, as we get toward the end of February and move on into March, long range, take me out a week or two into the middle portion of March, and then when will we see something that is more like a spring-like and definite warming temperatures?
Yeah, just a few weeks away from the time change and the beginning of spring officially. And I tell you what, it looks pretty chilly here in the short term through the weekend. But by the time we get to the middle of next week, of course, we're into March by then, and even the weekend and week beyond that calls for temperatures to average probably a little bit above average. So by then, our average high temperature when you get toward the early and middle part of March, we're in the upper 40s. So we're talking about an average high or, temperatures averaging by then in the 50s, perhaps. So it does look better as we head into next week and beyond. Just have to get past these little winter storms here, the latest coming tonight.
You know what, Bill? We'll take that. Hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. Ice on the way, boys and girls. And Bill Deger says, be careful over the next 24, 36 hours. Bill, appreciate it.
Have a good one. Have a good day.
You too. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.